I've lost control. Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Reviews. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Kenobi. So, this show centres around Kenobi, and it's 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And that sort of thing happens, and you see Kenobi looking over Luke, and you're going to see him in the show and see where he's going to take it this time after having that sort of thing with Anakin, where he fought Anakin in the prequel trilogy, at the end of the prequel trilogy, Revenge of the Sith and stuff like that, and you basically see how Anakin is going to turn, how I should say Kenobi is going to turn out to be in this show, and you see how his character is and stuff like that. So there's about 6 episodes of this show, and I will say that probably the first 4 episodes are they are just okay sort of thing, and a lot of people have said that episode 4 isn't that great. I mean, there are parts of it that feel a bit weird and a bit goofy, and the show itself isn't the most perfect thing on the planet, but it definitely still has some interesting sort of ideas, and it's not that bad. It's not that sort of thing, because you have other characters like Reva, and you have the Inquisitors, and you have all that, and Reva's character kind of is a bit strange at times because she's just randomly yelling, and there is certainly points in this show where it feels like she is just there for the sake of being there. Like, not a lot is explained here with Reva, because she just comes in here and she's going to be strong and whatnot, and that doesn't really change the fact that I actually had a nice time with episode 5 and 6 with the flashback and the Darth Vader duel, and I'll say that the Darth Vader and Anakin duel, the Darth Vader and Kenobi duel, I should say, in episode 3 wasn't as good as the one in episode 6, because you only got a tiny bit of what you're going to get. And in episode 6, I definitely think the finale is very good. The Reva storyline with Luke and everything was kind of weird, because she didn't like the fact that Anakin was killing all these children and with Order 66 and everything like that, but then she was going after Luke, so that didn't really make sense. But I still had a great time because I liked the Anakin Kenobi stuff, and I liked all of that, and it did make sense how the Inquisitor came back and survived as well, and Reva had a battle with Darth Vader and she didn't die, like she got stabbed by Darth Vader. It didn't make sense, even though that you had Qui-Gon Jinn and stuff like that, and he was in the 6th episode as well. You saw like him there, and you saw that, and you saw sort of seeing Emperor Palpatine do that sort of like blue intercom thing or whatever, and you saw that through the show, and that type of thing happened, and you saw stuff like that, and it does refer back to the original, and has that flashback and everything. So I think it has a lot to offer, and it definitely isn't like as good as Mandalorian, but I definitely do think this show is just, it had probably could have been a lot better than it actually is, but it still has good things about it. But you can't really do anything about that. Like, it depends on the writers and the person who's behind the scenes and everything. Like, it depends on who's writing the show and how they want to take it. But it was just kind of weird how you had a whole thing about Reva, and then Kenobi, and then more Reva, and then Kenobi, and then it just had a lot about Reva, and not a lot about Kenobi, but there is still a thing with Kenobi in this show, and it was just weird how Reva just became this important character, even though it made absolutely no sense how she knew Luke Skywalker and how she knew Darth Vader and this stuff, and she was a character that I wasn't interested in that much, but yeah, I do think it's good, and this show hasn't the show, people have received it well, and there's people who didn't like it. It's like, yeah, it's not really like, I'm not gonna be saying, oh, it's a woke disaster or anything, because it's really not that bad. It's just that a lot of things can be fixed. A lot of things can be improved upon. We can see, hopefully, maybe we'll see a bit of an improvement with the Disney Plus shows, with Star Wars and everything. But for now, that's sort of my thoughts on this show. It's just, it has a lot of things in it, and I'm going to rate every episode out of 10. So the first episode, I will say there are a lot of things in the first episode that, oh man, it is a bit weird how you have Leia. Leia is like being chased by these mercenaries. Or being chased by mercenaries, and that was like she was running slow. And then you had Count Dooku like in his old time, and that was episode 1. So what did I give that? What do I think I'd give that out of 10? Outside of just giving my thoughts on the entire show itself, so starting with episode 1 and my rating, I'll probably give it a 6 out of 10. Okay, this show, the first episode of the show was not bad, but it wasn't good. Episode 2, on the same vein, like just seeing the Inquisitor die randomly or whatever. Pretty sure the Inquisitor died in the second episode, or whatever. Just that, the second episode of Kenobi, I'm gonna give that probably a 6 out of 10 as well. The third episode of Kenobi, I'll probably give it like 7 for its attempt to have more emphasis on Darth Vader and Kenobi and seeing where this is going to go. Episode 4, probably a 5 out of 10. Okay, I think episode 4, like if I'm gonna rate this episode, definitely like a 5 out of 10, because you had a lot of weird stuff with Darth Vader and how he was just an absolute joke, and he was choking Reva, right? He was choking Reva, and he just stopped choking Reva for some reason. It made no sense in that regard. And then you had this one lady character, whatever. She was like slapping these stormtroopers, and it was weird. That episode was weird, and that sort of thing. Episode 5 is probably 7.5 out of 10, because I loved the flashback. I loved that sort of thing. It's good, but the fight with Reva and Darth Vader, and Reva surviving that stab, man, I'm gonna say it, the stab that Reva survives doesn't actually make sense. And episode 6 is probably my favourite. Could have been better, and that's saying a lot, because you've had a lot of stuff going on and that type of thing, and it's really stuff like that. And this could be like a longer episode, and I could like dive into all the things I really liked about it or whatever, but I'm not really gonna deep dive into this. I was just giving me your thoughts there. I thought I went on about how I thought about the show, but I did my rating there on every single episode. The show, what it is, it's not like a must see like Top Gun Maverick that I did. It's not like a better than everyone else expected it to be, like, or whatever, better than everyone else thought it was. It's actually a middle of the road show. Yeah, some episodes are a bit just not good, and then you have 2 episodes that are outshining the rest of them. So, I hope you enjoy.